the current baseball season to this fall's football season. And of course, to talk football, I can think of no one I'd rather welcome to the show than our very own Joey Knish. Now, Joey, as always, I'm so happy to have you back. How you feeling, man?
I'm ready to go. Good to be
Yes,
here on a
your
Tuesday
energy is
with
so
you, Allie.
amazing.
I am ready to talk a little NFL. I know the college football season's going off the rails, but I'm not letting
Yeah.
it go with the NFL. We're still going to have it. Listen, as long as Roger can still put it together and we can still get on the gridiron for some NFL football this fall, I'll be okay. I'll make it through.
Awesome. I think we all will. Obviously, that's why I have to have you on the show to talk about some football today because we only have a couple weeks left before the season starts. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about before it actually gets started. Now, we've got futures, we've got win totals, we've got a lot going on. But I do want to start talking about everyone's favorite quarterback, Tom Brady. Now, Knish, love him or hate him, I want to know, do you think Tom Brady is going to bring Tampa to the next level? And what are you looking at for a win total for the Buccaneers this season?
Listen, do I think if every little thing goes right for Tampa, do I think they can be a contender and be a team that's there in the NFC? Absolutely. But for me, there's such a level of variance and things that can go wrong. And Brady, and the simple fact of the matter, he wasn't good last year. So you're putting him in a new system. Can he rebound in the Bruce Arians offense with better weapons and have the type of year? Again, he's defied age, logic, and all of that, and I understand that. But again, a lot of has to go right for Tampa this year. The defense has to get better. Brady has to stay healthy. He has to fit in the new system. For me, I would prefer to take the cheap under 9.5. I think there's a lot of public backing here. The Bucs have been a very, very hot team in the offseason. And don't get me wrong, if everything goes right, Tom fits in. Could they get there? Absolutely. I'm not saying this is, a fate of a lifetime here. But for me, there's too much variance going into this season to play a bunch of overs, especially on this Tampa team that could have so much go wrong. Cheap 9.5 there. I'm seeing -103, -105 on 9.5s. It's got to be an under for me.
All right, Knish, so a little faith in a TB12. But yes, Joey says, do not believe the Tampa Bay hype. Bet the Bucs on the under for the wins. All right, and obviously, Knish, as we are getting super close to the season starting off, people are getting their futures locked in, their MVP picks locked in. And before everyone gets everything locked in and set up, Knish, what are the people missing? Like, are there any value picks out there that you just love? Who are you counting on to bring you some money this season? Spill the beans.
No, I know, and when we're talking about buying low, and whether it be fantasy or DFS or players and that, there's really an element of I like what New Orleans has done with the Emmanuel Sanders signing and being able to pick him up and go into this season as a wide receiver too. So to me, he's able, to then play off of Michael Thomas, maybe come in on what I would say is the, a little bit of an undervalued position since they haven't had that elite wide receiver too. They've been spreading it outside of Thomas. The ball really got spread around to 3-4 options. Not the best wide receiver too that Breeze has had in a long time. If he stays healthy, I know he's up there in a little bit of age, has got a tendency to get nicked up. For me, that's a buy-on type of player, whether it be player prop overs or later rounds in the fantasy draft. He's the type of guy that I'll be looking to add in a couple of different fashions as kind of a buy-low player.
All right, so we're liking Emmanuel Sanders, obviously, with New Orleans this upcoming season. Now, he's been in the NFL since 2010. There's going to be a lot of people just, overlooking him, but Joey says that you maybe should not. Now, Knish, we touched on it a bit earlier, but it's a weird year for sports, and it's probably going to be a really weird football season. I mean, we can hope and pray for a normal year that we all want, but that doesn't make it any more likely, unfortunately. But Knish, how are you changing your betting strategy going into this NFL season? Are you just going completely business as usual for football? Tell me.
No, and unfortunately, and I'm a guy that loves futures, loves getting on the early market, game of the years, regular season wins, all that. For me, it just you have to react and adapt to the situation. I've really scaled down the risk as far as the type of things that I'm putting money into in this offseason, just by the fact that one, I mean, we've talked about it with college football in a second that if you've put any money into a lot of college football futures or regular season, that money's going to be void. It's going to be tied up. It's not going to be in your bankroll. For me, I'm just, and am I still playing? I think there's still value out there on some futures in that. But for me, I've taken the risk down, and what would have been, 20-30% of my NFL bankroll going into futures regular season wins in that is now being scaled down to really 5 or 10%. I'm going to be more looking to react to the information on a week-to-week basis. I think you'll find some great situational spots, COVID injury updates. If you want to stay on top of it, I think there'll be fantastic buy scenarios week to week in the NFL if you can move with the information. But there's so much uncertainty going into the season, and then what could happen, if a quarterback misses a couple weeks, yada, yada, so many different scenarios that I've had to tamper down the risk in a lot of the regular season win futures and all that. And I would suggest that you just can't go as heavy as you normally would going into a year with so much uncertainty.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And you guys heard the man. Save your money and play the season week by week. That might be your best bet.